Hello, fellow wargamers and history buffs. Today we are looking at a new game from the folks over at Lock and Load Publishing. This is called Close Quarter Battles Waterloo, and it is a game that is dealing with a very small scale, kind of dealing with the particular areas on the Waterloo battlefield that presented a bit of a sticking point for the French. That is the walled chateau at Hougoumont and the walled farm along the Brussels highway, La Haye-Sainte. And so if we take a look here at the box, it's very big, it's very heavy. There's lots of stuff in it. It's got a nice finish on it. And here it's telling us a little bit about the history, of course. Most everyone knows about Waterloo at this point in time. And then it's talking about the particulars where it's focusing on La Haye-Sainte and Hougoumont. What all comes in it, maps, booklets, and we'll look at all that good stuff. What's interesting is that the game scale is each counter represents a company of infantry or a half company of skirmishers or a half battery. Time scale is each turn is 5 minutes. And the game scale itself is each hex is 25 meters. It says that the complexity is about level 6 and solitary suitability is level 7. So let's open it up and see what all we find inside. So first things off, we've got the core rules. Now the book here is spiral bound, and it looks like it is approximately 60 some odd pages here, 67 pages. And I don't know that all of that looks like, let's see just how they've organized it. So they've got glossary, introduction. They do have some optional rules. So without the optional rules, it's about 65 pages. The book itself here, as you can see, it's in color. We've got different images of different counters. Looks like it's all in full color here. Nice. And I do like the spiral bound notebooks that Lock and Load does. It certainly makes it easier for turning and flipping. And then if you're going to hold the map or the rule book, it doesn't get all tweaked like one that might be bound. So it looks like it's got everything in here and then some. All right, what's next in the box? What's next in the box is the book itself that looks like it is dealing specifically with this. So the other one was their core book, so maybe they're going to have more than one version of this. Maybe they'll have something dealing with a battle where this sort of close tactical combat makes sense. Here we've got a little bit of the historical background on what's happening at those two farms. And then here we get into the particulars about what your units are doing, how to breach gates, move, fire, skirmish, all that good stuff. And then we start to get into scenarios. So this has got lots and lots of scenarios. Looks like they're dealing with different times in the day as more and more units were fed into the Battle of Hougoumont. And here it's telling you what all is showing up in the order of battle. And then what do we have here? All right, and then now we have La Haye-Sainte and all the scenarios for that. And as you can see, very colorful. All right, here's what we're looking for. A training scenario, turn-by-turn playthrough. So here they've got an example of play. Looks like it's very detailed. All right. And then more stuff here in the back. I don't know what all this is yet. Summary of key rules. And sequence of play, terrain. And then some other kind of stuff here. Okay, cool. All right, so there's that. Next thing they have are the maps. Now, you'll see here already on, these are canvas maps that Lock and Load sent along with the game. But these are then the paper maps that they're going to be sending that go with it. Now, this is sort of on a heavier stock of paper, so it's not flimsy. The map itself has got a nice finish to it. It's nice and smooth. And the hexes themselves look like they're about 3/4 of an inch or so. So a good size. This is looking at La Haye Saint, and so we can see the Brussels Highway here, the sand pit. We see the Chemin de Rouen that runs up there. This is where not Napoleon, but Wellington's forces were. And so that's that map. Okay, cool. And it folds up. Bingo. And then here is the map for La Haye Saint. Oh, no, this is for Hougoumont. Okay. So here we can see the main building, the formal gardens here, the different orchards and fields and whatnot that were around. Okay. And the French were coming in this direction. And then there was like a sunken road back here, and then the Allies had their reinforcements and ammunition coming down this way and coming down the sunken road to supply the guys at Hougoumont. Cool. Those are our maps. All right, now we're getting into counters, and there are lots of counter sheets here. So, first off, it looks like we got French here, the units themselves. As you can see, it looks like they must be colored for each, perhaps, battalion that they're drawn from. And we got some numbers here, and I don't know what those all mean just yet. But you can see that they've got some nice artwork on them. And then we've got various and sundry leaders here. These must be captains or lieutenants, maybe the occasional brigadier. Okay, and on the backs, just some indication maybe. So maybe there's some sort of step system. So they take some losses and they lose some steps. I'm not sure. Those are French. All right, here are the British and their allies. So these are probably King's German Legion. Looks like we've got probably some, I don't know, these are Brunswick, or maybe they are one of the other German allies. Here we've got some batteries. All right, and then leader counters of some sort. Cool. And on the backs of them, same sort of thing where it's showing you, they were Nassauer troops, okay. All right. Counter thickness is about standard, and the counter size looks like these are maybe just shy of 3/4 of an inch. So there's that. Here we have more Frenchmen. And more Frenchmen. And then we've got markers here for, it looks like morale, ammunition, casualties. These are circular markers. And then they have other indications on the other side. Okay. So informational markers. Got some more French and some leaders here. It looks like Marshal Ney. And then we've got abatis, breaches, open gates, probably closed gates, stuff's on fire. These are then markers that must indicate different statuses for the buildings. Okay. All right. And then here we've got more markers for hits and casualties and actions, etc. Okay. So altogether, as far as informational markers, mostly 1, 2, 3, And then we've got 3 counter sheets. All right, let's see what else is in the box. Here we're starting to get into what looks like informational stuff. So this looks like a French infantry square. Okay, not sure what that's for, obviously, unless you're being charged by cavalry. Sequence of play. Okay. Melee combat results table. Modifiers. Nice. Action summary. Okay, so these are different player aid cards. Here is for the infantry squares for the British and their allies. Morale check outcome summary. Morale modifiers. Okay. Here we have artillery fire, combat results, procedures, modifiers. All right. Here we have the terrain effects chart. And here we've got musket fire, modifiers, all kinds of good stuff there on the back. Yeah, some of these on the back have got more range. Oh, for rifles. Ooh, those are never fun. Let's see, and then summary of key rules. So it's going to tell you what is on the stuff there. Check morale states. All right, we got one more thing here in the box, it looks like. We've got a lot more stuff in the box. Okay, here we've got another sort of sequence of play kind of card, explanation. All right, and then we've got some cards. We've got event cards, activation cards. We've got event cards for both the British and the French. Well, we'll crack these open and see what they look like. All right, first we are looking here at the activation cards, and it looks like we've got activation cards for the Allies, and the activation cards seem to be focused on any particular regiment or particular battalion. And so it looks like probably when you draw these activation cards, then that particular unit is activated, and then you would move them or do whatever it is that you're going to do with them. So that's what they are. There's the ones for the British, and then it looks like here for the French, they've got theirs as well that represent their different units that are in play. And we've got, yeah, okay, cool. All right, so those are the activation cards. Then now we have the event cards. We have event cards for the British. And these, from my understanding, is you'll have 5 of these and you'll play, you can play 3 of them or whatever any given turn, and then you'll draw some more. And then these are just going to add some extra choices for the players and maybe give you a chance to do something fun or evil to your opponent while you're playing it. So that's kind of cool. So we've got those for the British, and then the ones for the French. Oh, here we go. Lieutenant Legros, our favorite, chopping away. So some of these look like they are taking them from some of the historical things, and others are just kind of generic. Cool. Rallying. Okay, nice. Ladders, all kinds of stuff. Okay, now quick. All right, so those are some of the action cards. And then finally, if we're going to look at the box itself has got spaces here then for the action cards and for the 2 10-sided dice that come with it. Now, before I wrap things up here, I wanted to take a deeper look at the maps themselves. And the the details here on the map, I would say that the style of the map looks very much kind of like a Google Earth satellite, where you've got everything very much from the top down. We've got our hedges and we've got our little roads. We've got the different areas. It looks like they're defined maybe by elevations, or maybe that's with the setup. I'm not sure quite what these white lines represent necessarily. But if you look at it, the general style of the presentation is very much sort of a satellite Google Earth kind of look to it. Here, let's go over and take a look at the other one. So here we have the different fields around La Haye Sainte. And here we can kind of look down into the farm building itself. And we've got all these different little indicators. You know, there's a gate here and there's a gate there. And there's maybe different spots where people are firing from these spots. I'm not sure. The rules are very detailed, and so it looks like it's quite a hefty little game there, quite a detailed little game for something that normally doesn't get covered at this scale in the Napoleonics universe. Well, there you have it, folks. A quick unboxing and a quick look at Close Quarters Battles Waterloo from Lock and Load Games. As I said, this game looks like it is very detailed, it's very comprehensive. The rules are very in-depth. So I will have to read through those and try to figure them out so I could do some kind of review for you folks and maybe a little bit of play-by-play with the game itself. It is an unusual game in that it is covering a scale of combat that we don't typically see in Napoleonics. Usually we're battalions and regiments and larger, given just the way the muskets and everything was working. So because of the circumstances of this battle and these two particular locations and how pivotal they were and what a relatively small number of men were involved in defending them, this sort of detailed tactical game might come in handy and work for that. When I first saw this game, I thought to myself, this looks oddly familiar. And that's because back in the early 90s, I had a friend who had a subscription to Command Magazine, and one of the games that came out in Command was Hougoumont, Rock of Waterloo. And so we'd played that quite a few times until his next subscription to Command Magazine showed up. But it was dealing with just Hougoumont. I think the scale was about similar. I think it was 25 yards per hex and one company of men per counter kind of thing. So a little bit, yeah, about on par with what this one is. So it looked a little familiar, but this is much, much more detailed and comprehensive than the game that came with Command Magazine. So that's it. I will try to put something up on this later. But in the meantime, you've got a review of what's all in the box and how good it looks. So until our next episode, everybody, be well.